Today we will do a comparison between subjectivity and objectivity, and we will begin by definitions. So what does subjectivity mean, or to be subjective? So subjectivity is when one's perception is informed by individual perspective or individual way of seeing things. So subjectivity is when we have 10 people seeing the same instance happening but coming up with differing opinions of what happens. So when we compare subjectivity to objectivity, we compare a perspective-based realm, which is subjectivity, which is informed by who one is, one's reality. In a subjective case, one's reality is informed by the perspective or the upbringing, the nurturing, the culturing one underwent or one has gone through. But in objectivity, one sees without interference in the name of religions, cultures, and all these things that interfere with clarity of perception and interfere with what was perceived with what one is. So in objectivity, there is freedom from individual perspective. There is only what was perceived. So in objectivity, there is clarity of perception, while in subjectivity, there is the play of who perceives that instance, deciding on what really happened. So a subjective individual will see things and interpret them and kind of create a version made by the state of being that he or she is in. So subjectivity and objectivity can be best seen whereby, let's say, 5 people are seated discussing and a dog passes in front of them. So one is a Muslim and he sees something disgusting and something not.
Assalamualaikum. Why aren't we allowed to keep dogs as pet?
Sister has a question that why aren't we allowed to keep dogs as pet? Just mentioned the hadith. The main reason that is there is because if we analyze scientifically, Allah knows best, but if we analyze scientifically, today's science tells us that there are certain diseases in the saliva of the dog. For example, one of the most dangerous is rabies, known as hydrophobia. And this can go to people.
So another one is a Christian and he or she perceives that this is a great creation from God and a creation that we as the human race were told to take care of. So another one, the Indian, among the 6 people, sees some reincarnation of God. So he comes up with conclusions and with imaginations and visions of a reincarnation of God in a dogly form. So the other one, because he's a Chinese, will see a great meal for supper or for dinner. In fact, he or she, because she is hungry or he is hungry, will see a great meal for supper. So everyone's perspectives will decide what is perceived. Everyone's perspectives will interfere with the unfolding or the experience and perceive the experience as per individuals' creations. So this subjectivity and objectivity realm is where one acts from the subjective self in the realm of subjectivity, while the objective sense is when one perceives things from a perspective that is not interfered with by religions, by cultures, by the state of the body. So a subjective individual is one who will see things as he or she is, while the objective perceiver is more of like putting 5 phones without filters, recording the same scenario. And let's say, for example, it's 5 Nokia phones recording the same instance happening or unfolding without filters and without any additive on the camera. So they'll record the same dog, but with 5 people, there'll be a perspective based on the 5 individuals' conditioning or programming or state of being. This might be their state, their bodily state of being or their mental state of being. This will determine what they'll perceive, and thus subjectivity will apply. While the 5 Nokia phones will record the same fact or the same unfolding with minimum distortion of what happened. So in objectivity, what happened is the actual, rather than what we might interpret the happening to mean or to be or to entail So in subjectivity, a lot of stories are formed around what was perceived, while in objectivity, what happened is what happened and is captured as it happened, without any distortions, without any conclusions around the happening. So the subjective individuals always see worlds according to themselves. So having 7 billion people in this world, and like 4 billion adults, all these 4 billion adults perceive the world with their glasses, with their perspectives. Just as we've said, a Muslim will see a dog and see something dirty, something unclean. A Christian will see something to take care of or about, and a Hindu or a person from India will see a reincarnation of a god. So would revere and just see the dog as an extension of a god. To a Chinese or to an Asian, this will be great food, and so he or she will perceive some great meal. If there was a scientist, then he or she will see a species, a rare species of a dog. If there is a person from another society who maybe uses dogs to hunt, one will see a potential partner in hunting. So this world, we have a lot of people, and each and every individual has its own perspective. And so perspective-based vision is popular in human beings, whereby each and every human being will perceive the same instance but interpret it from the conditioning, from the state of one's well-being in the sense of the body, from the state of one's desires. So perspective is when what is seen is interpreted and kind of filtered and seen through the glasses of the identities one has identified with. A subjective individual will see something and subject it to mental activities or create mental activities around the happening. But an objective vessel will perceive things as they unfold, not as one concludes in the head. So the artificial intelligence, like the smartphones, will play a great role. The CCTVs, they'll play a great role in recording things as they really happen, with minimum interpretation, kind of corruption. So the corruption that comes with interpreting things interferes with what actually happened and turns what actually happened into what was seen or what one concluded about the happening. So subjectivity and objectivity are not words that should entangle you or confuse you. These are words that point to two states of perceiving reality. One, perceiving reality from an individual-based seeing of things, while the other is based on what unfolded